what's something that you would tell anyone who's in a dating relationship right now with the goal and heart and intent to be married?
Yeah. Don't ever compromise your standards. I can't emphasize that enough. I think I've spoken to so many people in the past couple of years where, again, they're just willing. Like, there is no perfect partner. We are well aware of that. And one of the things I always tell anyone I speak to is just like, make a list. It can be as detailed as you want it to be.
It's funny, I had this thought and I know we're going to go there because some people are anti-list.
Right.
Like, yeah, but a lot of people are like, stop making a list.
Right.
So what are you referring to when you say that?
So when I say make a list, it's just all like, man, when I see my life 10 years from now, married, with kids, whatever, what type of partner do I see myself sharing this with? Is it the guy who is career minded? Is it the guy who's going to be a great dad? Is it the guy that loves the Lord, has a great sense of humor? So I think every one of us has like non-negotiable. We never ever say it out loud. You know, there's a girl named Clark on TikTok.
But that's part of the problem, is your point, because we don't say it out loud. We don't write it.
And like I was gonna say, this girl named Clark on TikTok, she just lays it out, and she's just all like, if me having standards is what's gonna keep me single, then I'd rather be single.
Facts.
And I was like, I couldn't have said it better. So if you're in the dating phase, like, have standards and hold to it. Don't ever compromise your standards because someone made you feel too clingy or too needy or too whatever.
So when you say list, you're not talking about physical attributes.
Not necessarily. And if that's
you're talking about internal, because I've noticed the people who say stop, like throw your list away.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is the people are saying that, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why would you not want to have, you know, checklist of the person you want to commit the rest of your life with? Come to find out, people who are making lists was things on like physically based.
Yeah.
So it had to be a certain height, have a certain skin tone, and they had to have, you know, a certain eye color or something like that.
Right.
That's essentially what it sounded like they were referring to.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Whereas for us, all of ours was based off, like you said, the internal.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So like for me, y'all, I had sense of humor. I don't care how knowledgeable you are in the scripture, if I can't laugh with you, and if we can't watch an episode of Parks and Rec together, like that's just not somebody I want to tie the rest of my life with. You know, so
like I've even told girls, like, hey, if you want to be vain, like when you're starting off the list, like try add the vanity piece of it too. The point is to put down what is important to you, and then later, with each passing day, month, whatever, you get to refine that. Right? Like the first list I wrote versus the one I actually refined is totally different, because there's parts of me
You've
that
grown.
Right, there's a part of me that made the list because it was from a place of hurt, you know. Well, this is everything I experienced, so I don't want none of this. Right. To being like, okay, now my internal systems have calmed down, I've grown up a little bit more, I've learned from this experience, so from what I've learned and from what I've experienced, what would I like the long term to look like?
Yeah.
So I knew for a fact, like, I don't want to be with someone who would disrespect me in any way, disrespect my family.
Yeah.
You know, is family minded, you know, but not wrapped up in their family the whole time, like, because the whole concept is we're starting a family, you know. So life will teach you stuff, take it with you and make notes of it. So when I say make a list, it's like your non-negotiables, you know. So what are those? It's okay to have it.
So one of the caveats I would say to your list, because the question that has been asked often is, what do? Do you still keep dating them if they're missing one thing from the list? So I'm gonna give two answers. My response is, if it were me, I move on. So things on my list were things like, you know, has to be Christian, equally yoked, family oriented, wants to have kids, sense of humor. But one of the biggest ones too that was on there has to be supportive of the military lifestyle. I was going out to duty at the time, and guys, it it wouldn't be a good look, and it probably wouldn't be a healthy marriage if I marry someone that has all those things, but they're not supportive of the active duty lifestyle. You're gone a lot, whether it's training or deployment. We were long distance for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And we spent 3 months of that time together.
Yeah.
So why would I tie myself to somebody that values everything else on the list, but not that?
Right.
So for me personally, if you're missing one, I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. That's my answer. I said I'm gonna give 2 responses. So here's my second one. The second response is, if you're willing to stay with the person and they're missing one thing, on the list, here's what I would say then. You're no longer allowed to hold them accountable to that thing that you hope from them.
Right.
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 So for example, like
that can be the thing that you throw in their face because you already knew what was
exactly
on the dinner table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for example, you want kids, but the other one doesn't. That's huge, right?
Yeah.
So it's fine if you want to stay with them and move forward with that, but then you can't hold that accountable to them. That's not on them, especially if they were clear on what it is that they wanted versus what you wanted. So that's why I say for me, if I'm answering it, I'm not sacrificing that. It's on the list for a reason.
Right.
But if not, that's fine. But then you can no longer hold that person accountable.
Right. And of course, like, I want to add things like there are certain things that's on your list and you both agree on it, and life happens. Like, for example, like, once you get married, you find out there's like infertility issues or whatever, like then you can't also make your spouse feel like trash for that. But like, well, we agreed that we're gonna have kids. Like, well, that's something they can't control. So I would also just kind of add that in there. It's just all like, agree on it, but knowing that, hey, like, there's a possibility of things changing.
That's fair. That's good. That's fair, babe.
So yeah, just a little.
No, that's good. That's good. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to see more clips, check out over here. Want to see full whole episodes, check out over here. Otherwise, we will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day.